Hello, internets. Welcome back to part 3 of Diskhead. You're such a Diskhead 2019 edition. As you can see, we're in a little bit of a different setting this time. This is my living room, but that doesn't mean the fun is stopping anytime soon. Oh no, we've got some quality stuff for you in this part, so I think I should stop rambling and get a move on. So, the first one we have here is The Blues Brothers, with the late John Belushi and Dan Aykroyd. This is a Universal release from, I'm not entirely sure what year this is from. 2003. Oh, this is honestly one of my favorite movies. It is so good. I haven't seen Blues Brothers 2000, which I've heard is apparently terrible. But, come on. For 2 and a bit hours of top quality fun, you honestly cannot beat The Blues Brothers. It is just so fucking good. Next one is Quiz Show, a Robert Redford film, which is a Hollywood Pictures home video release from, past 2003, I guess. Hang on, wait a minute, what is this? Why is there an asterisk there? It doesn't say anything. Ah well, whatever. Figure it out. But this is clearly a reprint of an older DVD, as you can see by that old-timey BBFC certificate. Next one, we are getting controversial up in here, because the next one is The Birth of the Nation, Lincoln's Assassination, the fatal blow that robbed the South of its best friend. Lincoln was anti-slavery. How was he the South's best friend? Motherfucker. Anyways, this is a Eureka release from 2013. This is a highly controversial movie, because when it came out in, I believe it was 1917, don't hold me to that, 1916 or 17, I can't remember, but it was highly successful, but in recent years, it's been remembered more for its cinematic achievements, because the movie is incredibly racist. It's based on a novel called The Klansman, which has a KKK guy as the hero, so that should probably tell you everything you need to know about the plot of this movie, if you didn't know anything about it already. This has nothing to do with the movie The Birth of the Nation by what's his name? Nate Parker, that came out in 2016. Anyways, we've got 2 discs here and a whole fucking this looks to be a whole collection of essays. I haven't seen this movie. I'll need to free up about 3 hours of my time to be able to watch it, but if I sat through Endgame, I should be able to sit through this. But I'm not expecting to enjoy it much, because, you know, how horrifically racist it is. Lighter now, next one is UHF, with Weird Al Yankovic. This is an MDM DVD release from 2002. I already have the UK DVD of this, and, well, but now I have, actually no, I had this first. I got this in the States, and I really want to get the Blu-ray, which I've just discovered was released in this country. I was about to say something about that 3 stars side splitting, but then I realised you lot only do star ratings out of 4 because you're weird. But in this country, the DVD of Looney Tunes Back in Action, when it was released, because we do 5-star reviews, and the best review they could put on the cover was a 3-star review, I believe, from the News of the World, something like that. And this is a very old DVD, as you can see, because it's got the double-sided. There's, what is this? This is the standard, and this is the widescreen. Next one is Dracula, the original Universal horror movie with Bela Lugosi, which is a Universal release from 2011. And okay, no, I know why I have this. I was an edgy child. This is the weekend. I got this the weekend Twilight Breaking Dawn Part 1 was released. And because I was an edgy child, I figured, hey, why sparkly vampires when you can have real vampire? I literally only bought this to seek attention on Facebook, so, you know. That shows you the kind of 13-year-old I was. You would not have liked 13. Hang on a minute. You lot know 13-year-old me. I mean, depending how long you've been on this channel, you know what 13-year-old me was like, kind of. Next one is Kess, which is an MGM DVD release from 2003. I haven't seen this movie, but, well, first of all, it's a reprint, as you can see by all that, and second of all, it's apparently incredible. I mean, I wouldn't expect anything less from Ken Loach. If you've seen his recent movie, I, Daniel Blake, I mean, you'll know what I'm talking about. It's incredible, honestly. Next one is Wallace and Gromit, A Matter of... Oh, hold on. Laptop. Wallace and Gromit, A Matter of Loaf and Death, and a whole loaf of extras. This is a To Entertain DVD release from 2009. This is... It's easily the weakest of the all the Wallace and Gromit shorts, but that's not to knock it. It's still an incredible time. Like, obviously the other three are all are better times, but you know, for what this is, it is still a hoot, honestly. I love everything Wallace and Gromit, and this is still no exception. Next one is the very best of Have I Got News For You. Over 3 hours plus loads of extras, 13 years, 23 series, all the best moments. This is a VCI release from, I suppose 2002. Yeah, 2002. I mean, who doesn't love a bit of Have I Got News For You? If you've seen it, that is. Because, oh, come on. If you're gonna need your politics satirized, this is the way to do it. I mean, apart from the times when they have on complete dickheads, like, you know, the man who goes by the name of Reese Mogg. Next one is Hamlet, a Kenneth Branagh film with Kenneth Branagh, Julie Christie, Billy Crystal, Gérard Depardieu, Charlton Heston, Derek Jacobi, Jack Lemmon, Rufus Sewell, Robin Williams, and Kate Winslet. This is a home video release from 2007, and this, well, first of all, it is naturally a schlock. This is 4 hours long, includes literally every single line of dialogue from the Shakespeare play, but it's like, it's very much a product of the 90s. Like, it takes the play and turns the drama factor up to about 11. It is incredibly stylized and funky, and it comes in 2 discs. And for some reason has only the Greek rating, and oh no, there's the Spanish one, and the German one. But yeah. What's next? Solid tune, I'll allow it. Next one is Outnumbered Series 1, which is a To Entertain release from, when is it from? 2008. I've only seen season 1 of Outnumbered. There are, I believe, 5 series and a bunch of Christmas specials now, but Outnumbered is a great series. I honestly have a lot of fun with it. It was on Netflix. Well, no, it was on it. It still is. I've been meaning to watch the whole thing for a while now. But yeah. Next one is South Park Bigger, Longer, and Uncut. Loud, funny, crude, and very rude, according to Empire. This is a Warner Home Video release from 2000. I'm not 100% sure why Warner Brothers released this in this country. In the States, it was a Paramount release, and that's slightly... The start of the movie is certainly slightly better, because in the US print, there's the Paramount logo, where it fades into the South Park mountain, and on this one, it's the Warner Brothers Pictures logo. That has a very cheap fade into the mountain. But anyways, this is such a good movie. If you like the South Park series, you'll obviously like this, because it takes the best of the early South Park and just it's on crack, basically. It only passed with an R rating in the States, I think about 2 weeks before it was meant to be released. They sent it to them about 5 times, and it came back with an NC-17 every time, because it satirizes the MPAA, and they're like, they're right, we shouldn't admit it, should we? But here it went with a 15, no trouble, because, you know, we're not prudes. And this is another double-sided disc. We have the 4:3 version on this side and the widescreen version on this side. Next one is the Naked Gun Trilogy, with the late Leslie Nielsen as Lieutenant Frank Drebin in The Naked Gun, Naked Gun 2.5, and The Naked Gun 33 1/3. This is a Paramount release from... What does it say? Hold on. Where is it? Uh, 2009. So yeah, as standard, we get all the Naked Gun movies on 3 discs. You can tell this one is very obviously just the original disc, but I think these two were made specifically for this compilation. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah. Next one, another banger of a comedy movie, Blazing Saddles. Never give a saga an even break. The 30th anniversary special edition. This is a Warner Home Video release from 2008. Which means this isn't the 30th anniversary edition because this movie came out in 1974. And this is a hilarious movie, honestly. It's... You could argue it's a little bit racist. It could never be made today. Because, you know, if you've seen it, you'll know exactly what I mean. But this and the Naked Gun trilogy, I forgot to say. I mean, I've only seen the first one, but the first Naked Gun movie is a banger. This is a banger. Well, yeah. Next one is Inception, with Leonardo DiCaprio, Ken Watanabe, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Marion Cotillard, Ellen Page, Tom Hardy, Cillian Murphy, Tom Berenger, and Michael Caine. This is a Warner Home Video release from 2010. This is an absolute mindfuck of a movie, but a very good one at that. Christopher Nolan, he can't really do wrong. I think the closest thing he's done to wrong was probably Interstellar, because that is a bloated mess at times. But, you know, this is still a very enjoyable movie, albeit a very confusing one. Next one, shit, is Have I Got News For You, the best of the guest presenters, with, I suppose that's Martin Clunes, Bruce Forsyth, don't know who that is. This is a cunt, and Merton and Hislop. DVD bonus disc, The Full Boris. This is a VCI release from 2003. I don't know how they could have got so many good footage of guest presenters, because Angus Deaton only stopped posting it regularly in 2002, I believe. Oh, that's the Boris disc just flying around out again. So here's the main disc and the Boris disc. I'm not exactly sure how, because I don't know how notable Boris was back then, but certainly more notable now, let's just say. Next one is Cockneys vs. Zombies, with Harry Treadaway, Rasmus Hardiker, Michelle Ryan, Richard Breers, Honor Blackman, and Alan Ford. A mad, rollicking mashup of Shaun of the Dead and Lock, Stock, and it's worse than both of them. Comes with this funky 3D cover that you can't exactly see. The undead are brown bread. This is a Lionsgate release from 2012. I wanted to see this movie in the cinemas when it came out, because, come on, with a title like Cockneys vs. Zombies, you couldn't not want to see it. And then I saw it, I loved it, and then I watched it again about 6 months later, and yeah, I realised how stupid I was. Anyways. Yeah. Hold on. I'm going to need to put your phone down while I get this back in the case. That didn't take too long. Next one is Dogma, with Ben Affleck, Matt Damon, Linda Fiorentino, Salma Hayek, Jason Lee, Jason Mewes, Alan Rickman, and Chris Rock. It can be hell getting into heaven. This is a Cinema Club Film 4 release from... I'm going to assume 2000, because that's when the video that I have is from. Yeah, this is specifically the widescreen edition, which I appreciate that, because I think a lot of TVs were still 4:3 CRTs then, so, you know, not a lot of room for widescreen. Next one is First Blood, with Sylvester Stallone, which is an Optimum Home Entertainment release from, I think, 2009 or 8. Ah, the disc's still in the player, god damn it. Ah, fuck it, the show must go on. you could probably imagine what this would look like. This is a really good movie. It's quite a contrast from the later Rambo movies, because in this one, he only kills one person, and it's an accident. And the less said about how many people die in the 2008 Rambo, the better. Oh boy, next one. An American Werewolf in London. A movie by John Landis, which is a Universal release from 2009. This is such a good movie. It's honestly, again, like the Blues Brothers, which is incidentally directed by the same guy. This is one of my favorite movies of all time. My favorite horror movie. Oh god, if you haven't seen it, you must. Honestly, it is so good. Next one is Wallace and Gromit: The Complete Collection, which includes all 4 smashing stories. A Grand Day Out, The Wrong Trousers, A Close Shave, and A Matter of Loaf and Death. This is a 2 entertaining release from, I guess, 2009. This, I said it already about loving all the Wallace and Gromit shorts and the movie. These are all so good. If you haven't seen anything Wallace and Gromit, you have not lived, honestly. Next one is Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, which is a Paramount release from, I think, either late 2008 or early 2009. I'm not 100% sure, but I haven't actually seen this movie since it came out. Everybody seems to hate it, but I think I need to give it a rewatch to determine what I properly feel about it. But I remember I saw it when it came out, and I liked it. Oh, I've seen Lego Indiana Jones video game advert, and, well, basically just a bunch of merch, as you do. Next one is Fargo with Frances McDormand. A lot can happen in the middle of nowhere. This is an MGM DVD release from 2006. I gotta be honest, this is one of the most overrated movies I have ever seen. I mean, I enjoyed it, but everybody seems to think it's one of the greatest movies of all time. Should have won more Oscars than it did. Oh, God. Frances McDormand won an Oscar despite the film was just her being like, oh yeah, for like 20 minutes. Script is pretty good, but in a year where stuff like Secrets and Lies came out, which is an incredible movie, did this really? Ugh, I don't know. Film Twitter's gonna come at me, but honestly, I don't give a fuck. Do your worst, dickheads. Next one, back on the good movies now, is Inside Out, which is a Disney release, obviously, from 2015. This is amazing. It's honestly one of Pixar's best movies. I'd put this alongside probably this, Coco, the Toy Stories is one of the absolute best. Honestly, I'm no word of a lie. But a word of shit talk about these grey discs. Have a word, Disney. Honestly. Next one is James Cameron's Avatar, which is a 20th Century Fox home entertainment release from 2010. I remember I loved this movie when it came out. You know, everybody did. It was the big 3D thing. I haven't seen it since, but everybody now seems to not be a big fan of it. But I need to give it a rewatch. I mean, especially before the ad infinite sequels came out. Oh man. Hold on, I'm gonna need to put the phone down again just to get this back into the slipcover. There we go. Next one is the Grand Budapest Hotel, with Ralph Fiennes, F. Murray Abraham, Mathieu and Amalric, Adrian Brody, Willem Dafoe, Jeff Goldblum, Harvey Keitel, Jude Law, Bill Murray, Edward Norton, Saoirse Ronan, Jason Schwartzman, Lea Seydoux, Tilda Swinton, Tom Wilkinson, Owen Wilson, and Tony Revolori. This is a 20th Century Fox home entertainment release, from 2014. This is an incredibly fun time. I remember I absolutely adored it when it came out, and I rewatched it I think about 3 years later, and I still loved it, but like, I don't think it was quite as good as I had remembered it being as a 15-year-old. But you know, it's still a really, really good movie. I would definitely recommend it. Next one, the bangers just keep coming, don't they? Here we have Who Framed Roger Rabbit, which is a Touchstone home entertainment release from, I'm going to assume, about 2003. This is... People think it hasn't aged well, and I haven't watched it in a while, but from what I remember, it is a banger of a movie. Honestly, if you haven't seen it, you definitely should. Next one, this is quite fitting considering what song is playing. I didn't plan this, I promise. This is Shuffle. Well, you can guess when. That was Ghostbusters! With Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, and Sigourney Weaver, and for some reason Harold Ramis and Ernie Hudson aren't credited here, but I'm going to credit them now. They're here to save the world! This is a Columbia TriStar Home Entertainment release from 2004. It's a quite late home entertainment release because, I mean, I had this internal pondering in the last part. I'm not sure when they became Sony Pictures. I think it's either late 2005 or early 2006. Can't remember. Anyways, busting some ghosts is a fun time that makes me feel good, as Jonathan Young has so correctly said. Next one is the Simpsons movie, which is a 20th Century Fox home entertainment release from 2007. I loved The Simpsons when I was a kid. I loved this movie when I saw it. I rewatched it quite recently, and it was still just as good as I remembered it. It's honestly, it's like all the best things about, I'd say, like the first 10 seasons of the show just rolled into one 90-minute package. I still think it's ironic that there's a line in it where the rest of them, where the family are hiding on a train, and then Bart with the bra, and he's like, I'm the mascot of an evil corporation! And now they're owned by Disney! Whey! You know, nothing like a bit of sweet, sweet irony. The last two were actually also 20th Century Fox home entertainment releases, and the first of them is Mrs. Doubtfire, with the late Robin Williams and Sally Field. Again, a 20th Century Fox home entertainment release. This one is from 2001. I haven't seen this movie in a long, long time, but I remember really enjoying it, because, you know, it's Robin Williams. What wrong has he done? Don't answer that question. Next one is Night of the Museum with Ben Stiller and... Why did I say next one? This is the last one. Anyways, Night of the Museum, it's got Ben Stiller in it, and one of the lamest taglines I think I've ever seen. Everything comes to life. That's just a description of the plot of the movie. Anyways, like I said, another 20th Century Fox home entertainment release. This one I think is from 2007. And I remember liking this movie a lot when I was a kid. I haven't seen it in about as many years as it's been out. But, you know, it's a good and solid fun time. And that is it for part 3. We'll be back in part 4 with some more quality shit. I will see you then.